It's a stage in life for women that in many cultures is celebrated, but in the U.S., more and more women say they feel isolated and unsure while going through menopause and perimenopause. The transition can look very different for everyone, leading to even more confusion at the doctor's office. From the symptoms and misconceptions to new legislation in our state that just went into effect, I took a deep dive into how we can better support women going through this change and why that support is so needed.
It feels shameful in a lot of ways.
That was the experience for former state representative Kristen Cloutier and many of her friends.
We would go to our doctors with, symptoms, and we weren't always diagnosed with like menopause related symptoms.
She got validation while attending a convention for female legislators when Oscar-winning actress Halle Berry echoed those feelings.
We're talking about a celebrity who went to her doctor and was misdiagnosed on more than one occasion for several symptoms of menopause, who had pretty much all the money in the world to pay for the best physicians, and even they were not comfortable talking to her about how her symptoms were related to menopause.
That inspired Cloutier to move forward with legislation here at home to help address the knowledge gap around perimenopause and menopause.
It just sort of felt like it was time to sort of see what we could do in the state of Maine.
According to a report from AARP, 80% of graduating internal medicine residents did not feel competent to discuss or treat menopause.
I think it's probably higher than that.
Susan Kamen is a certified nurse midwife who pivoted her career to deliver holistic midlife and menopause care after discovering this education gap herself.
It is an inevitable biological event that happens to all people who are born with ovaries, and yet it's not part of medical or nursing training.
She still finds that puzzling, considering there are dozens of potential symptoms.
The four biggest symptoms I see in my practice are joint pain, which is probably number one, mood changes, insomnia or problem sleeping, and weight gain.
Kamen testified in support of Cloutier's proposed legislation back in March, as did Halle Berry.
We're half the population, and as women, we're spending half of our life in menopause because we now know it starts early 40s. We're living until 80, and nobody understands our bodies and how to treat us.
Cloutier's bill passed and took effect in September. What exactly does the legislation mean for physicians and things like that? What is required now?
So it's actually very, very simple. It's education. So it's making sure that when women come into your office, you're having a conversation with them about menopause and whether their symptoms are related to menopause. It can be as simple as like a flyer on the wall.
It makes a lot of sense that somebody would, I guess, envision these changes. I'm really interested to see how they get put into play.
Menopause coaching specialist Nicole French started a monthly menopause support group at Women for Healthy Rural Living, or WURL, in Millbridge earlier this year.
I've heard about sharing body wisdom in a circle of women, how meaningful that has been, and opening their eyes to the fact that no two menopause journeys are the same.
I think we heard that again and again of women coming in and just saying some type of a thing of like, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy. And then all of the other women are like, me too. Me too.
As this new legislation is implemented throughout the state, Cloutier hopes women feel more comfortable advocating for themselves and their physicians feel more comfortable addressing their symptoms.
I think people are just glad to sort of have this out in the open and the ability to talk about it.
I think it's a really good first step, and I'm very excited about that.
As far as that implementation aspect, I did reach out to the Maine Department of Health and Human Services. They told me they're in the early stages of putting together a work group that will determine the wording and focus of that education, as well as a plan for development and dissemination. Susan Kamen, who I interviewed for this piece, has been in touch about being part of that group. There's no timeline right now on when you might see signs or materials at your doctor's office, but we'll keep following the rollout of this new law.